Change my life is something we throw around so loosely nowadays. But these anime have genuinely gotten me to get off my ass and do real stuff, like try boxing, go to the gym, talk to other people, trying to squeeze the most I can out of life, right? Number one is probably something you never heard of, so if you're looking for interesting anime and you're someone who's interested in self-improvement, I think this is a great video to explore these, right? Because I'm not saying anime is the answer to solving all your life's issues, but it is a great way to gain new perspective in a fun and engaging way. Growing up, I never really had a role model that could model my behavior around in real life, right? Obviously, I love my father, I love my mother, I had a lot of positive influences, but I didn't really have anyone in real life I could look up to and say, I'm really resonating with you, I want to live my life the way you live your life. I didn't have that. And I didn't have any teacher like that either. So when I discovered anime for the first time in grade 6, it allowed me to latch on to an idea of a character that I felt lived their life in a way that I wanted to live my life, right? So let's just get right into the list. Starting with number 5, Naruto. Naruto was the very first anime I ever watched. This is what got me into anime to begin with, all the way back in grade 6, so that was over 10 years ago. And while I've come a long way since then, I still think about how much Naruto has positively impacted me. I'm not saying Naruto changed my life just because of the generic try your best, work hard messages. What really made me like Naruto as an anime is because Naruto's stupid. Like, he's genuinely really slow. He's honestly lazy sometimes too, right? If you go in the Chunin exam, for example, that you failed, you could essentially give up on the spot and you could come back to fight another day, right? You could take another Chunin exam. Naruto didn't write down anything on this test. He was definitely gonna fail no matter what, right? But this guy still tried his absolute hardest, which in this case was 0. He tried his best and it amounted to 0, right? But the point is, he believed in himself, he believed in his circumstances, and despite the shortcomings he had in life, right? Despite being born with maybe a little bit less IQ than some of the other kids, despite being on the short bus, he is able to overcome any obstacle, right? And even if he isn't able to overcome the obstacle, I think what's even more motivating is that he tries to overcome every obstacle, right? So it's changed the way I live my life, because in grade 6, as a kid who was not always smartest in the room, right? I wasn't necessarily gifted. I was kind of struggling throughout elementary school, middle school. Watching this guy Naruto being really stupid, still trying his best, still somehow getting through every obstacle, no matter how ugly his process was, it motivated me to try my best too, right? I may not always do as well as I want, but it doesn't matter as long as I give it a good shot and don't give up, right? Because eventually, if there's a wall that's blocking me, I can just keep going at it until I break through it, despite the limitations I was born with, right? The overarching message of Naruto is that it's not about how you're born or what limitations you come to the challenge with. It's about how determined you are to keep attacking this challenge and how much you believe in yourself. That determines whether or not you get past the obstacle. So that's something I applied to myself in grade 6, grade 8, high school. And I will say, ever since I watched Naruto, I did a lot better in school, right? I actually started trying. I thought to myself, I might not be an A+ student, but if I try my hardest, I might be able to get some B+, right? In high school, I ended up doing really well. So having the mentality that even if I won't be perfect, as long as I give my best shot, that's something that I'm really grateful to Naruto for. Number 4 is Trigun. Trigun is one of the later animes I watched. I want to say I was about maybe my 2nd or 3rd year of high school when I discovered Trigun. Trigun is an anime that is centered around Vash, who's really cool, strong character. He could defeat pretty much everyone, right? But what's interesting about Vash is that he's not your typical badass, I'll defeat everyone type of guy. He doesn't take himself seriously at all. He jokes around, and honestly, he chooses kindness whenever he has a chance, right? It made me realize that being strong isn't just about how many bad guys you could beat up, it's about self-control. Vash had the most self-control despite having every reason not to have self-control, because there's no consequences to him going on rampages, because like I said, he's the strongest character in that universe, right? but still he decides and chooses to provide compassion despite that. And I think that made me realize that strength isn't necessarily just about winning, it's about self-control. Another honorable mention, an anime that kind of touches on this well, is Vinland Saga. Vinland Saga, especially in the later seasons, really preaches the importance of what true strength means and what kindness is. The reason I'm suggesting Trigun is a lot of people have already watched Vinland Saga, and this is a newer anime. Trigun had more of an impact on my life personally because I watched it before Vinland Saga ever came out. Number 3, this is a little bit of an unconventional pick. Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Edgerunners didn't motivate me in the way that it pursued me to do something. It kind of changes the perspective on how I view things because of the tragedy that David, the main character, was. David spends almost his entire life chasing someone else's dream, trying to be what other people expect him to be, and fulfilling promises that weren't his. And in the end, in a tragedy, I'm not gonna spoil too much, but David's life was a tragedy in every sense. So I realized that a lot of us do the same thing David did. We make promises to other people, we choose careers because other people told us, we chase money because society tells us, we pursue goals, but we never actually stop to question, what do you want personally, right? What is your dream? I think that's a really important question to answer, and something that Cyberpunk Edgerunners motivated me to answer, because I realized that that's the path that I was headed down. I was going to live my life trying to fulfill promises made to other people that were never really my own. I wasn't living my own life. Number 2, FLCL, or Fooly Cooly. Fooly Cooly is definitely the weirdest anime on this list. It's a short, I believe 6-episode anime. Most of the time you have no idea what's going on. It's the weirdest plot of maybe any anime, right? Bunch of weird shit going on. But the author kind of packages this core message underneath all of that weirdness. And that message is that life doesn't start until you swing the bat. The character of FLCL, Naruto, essentially leads the entire series along with the co-lead, Haruko. Haruko is this alien type creature that comes out of nowhere, whereas Naruto is just a regular 12-year-old kid. Naruto's belief at the start of the show is that there's no point in trying because his older brother, who died before the start of the series, would always be better at him, right? He doesn't bother trying to pursue his greatness in baseball because he's it doesn't matter. My brother would be better than me anyways. He never stops to take the bat and actually try, right? Because his reasoning is, what's the point? There's always going to be someone more experienced, older, smarter. But watching Fooly Cooly and watching Haruko suddenly motivate Naruto to take that first swing, take that first bat, made me realize that we waste so much of life sitting and waiting around for something to happen. What Fooly Cooly preaches is that we should try to go.
Nothing can happen till you
Go for
swing
new
the
things,
bat.
meet new people, new hobbies, new risks. Taking the swing, even if you might miss and embarrass yourself, right? And that's the essence of life and living a life that you're proud of. The best part of this is that it's only 6 episodes. Number 1, Ashita no Joe. No anime has changed my life more than Ashita no Joe. It's the reason I started boxing, and it's the reason I live my life currently the way I do. Ashita no Joe disguises itself as a sports anime that focuses around Joe Yabuki, a character, a wandering orphan, who doesn't have much to his name but eventually bows his way up and makes his name through boxing, right? But it's not about boxing itself. It's not about Joe's upbringing. It's not about where Joe even ends up. The value and the beauty behind Ashita no Joe is the way Joe lives his life, the way he attacks challenges. It's his mindset. When Joe does something, he doesn't do it halfway, right? When he loves something, he loves boxing, he gives himself to it fully. He gives every ounce of himself to boxing, right? He decides that nothing else is worth more doing than what he loves. So he comes across as a jerk a lot of the times because he doesn't care what other people think, right? He's very abrasive. He doesn't care about what is happening to his body, right? He doesn't care if he's getting brain damage, destroying his joints. He loves boxing, so he's going to give himself to it fully, purely. His life philosophy is to give 100% of himself to what he loves, and his goal in life is to turn to quote-unquote pure white ash. Pure white ash is the act of burning yourself up until nothing else is left. In the end, he accomplishes that, and Ashita draws one of the most beautiful endings of any anime I've ever seen. Seeing the way Joe lived his life and seeing the satisfaction on his face after he ended up turning to pure white ash is something that I really want to experience in my life too. Because while we could all come up with our own meanings of life and nobody's really right, I think we could all agree that dying after giving everything you had to something, fully spent up, turning fully into pure white ash, there's nothing that could be more meaningful than that. I have some honorable mentions that I didn't bring up. Konosuba is an anime that a lot of people dismiss because it's fan service, but it taught me to not take life all seriously. Code Geass is another great anime that constantly challenged my ideas about justice and sacrifice. Hajime Ippo also made me fall deeper in love with boxing. And another great anime is Yu Yu Hakusho, because seeing Yusuke kind of just not give a fuck the entire show was inspiring in a way. So these are the animes that changed my life. I'm not claiming this is the top 5 anime ever objectively, right? I'm not an anime critic. I'm just saying that these are the anime that have had the biggest impact on me. I hope there's another one out there that also has a great impact on me. I'm gonna continue recommending anime to other people in my personal life, right? Whenever I see another anime watcher, I'll always try to recommend an anime I think has made a positive impact on me. So that's why I try making this video. If you guys feel like you're stuck in a kind of weird area in your life, try watching one of these animes, it might change your outlook.